The sound of Russian drones permeated the early morning skies across several major Ukrainian cities Saturday. Dozens forced to shelter underground as the barrage flew ahead. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, it contained more than 530 drones and 45 missiles.
There was one explosion, then another one around 2 a.m. There were explosions, one after another.
Officials say at least one person was killed and another 24 were injured, including 3 children. They add that at least 14 residential buildings in one city alone were left charred and without critical electricity or a gas supply. To the west in Lviv, another death, but this time caused by bullets. The Prosecutor General's office says former Ukrainian parliamentary speaker Andriy Perubi was shot dead by a gunman who fled the scene. The 54-year-old was a member of parliament and was one of the leaders of protests back in 2013 and 14, calling for Ukraine to gain closer ties to the European Union. At this time, there's no indication whether or not the murder has any direct link to Russia. These latest instances of carnage in Ukraine come just 2 days after Russia launched its second-largest air assault of the war. That attack saw at least 25 people killed and caused severe damage to the premises of the EU delegation to Ukraine.
Such blatant violations of international law and the inviolability of diplomatic premises only strengthen our resolve to stand with Ukraine.
Ukraine urgently requires additional air defense systems to protect our people, to protect our territory. Russia's unlawful war must be stopped.
But Russia appears to have no plans to slow down. In the wake of the back-to-back attacks, a message from Kremlin officials touting the country's ramped-up military offensive, along what they're calling Ukraine's entire front line.
Since March, more than 3,500 square kilometers of territories and 149 settlements have been liberated. The tasks of creating a security zone along our border in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions are being successfully completed.
Now, this touting of a non-stop offensive comes as U.S.-led diplomacy efforts continue on reaching an end to the war. Friday did see a Ukrainian delegate meet in New York with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. The two discussed U.S. President Donald Trump's idea of imposing new sanctions on Moscow should Russian President Vladimir Putin not decide on a bilateral meeting with Zelensky within 2 weeks. Russia continues to uphold that there is no agenda for such a summit. For City News, I'm Karling Donoghue.